Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Try It Thursdays episode of Tea Time with Afternoon Social. And I'm Teresa Lauderback, and we have Katie with us again this week. She's been here all week. Thank you, Katie. And today she's going to give us something to try about managing on a little workshop on identifying your personal needs, and something we can try to achieve what, if you go back to Monday and Wednesday's videos about losing that weight and taking care of ourselves. So she's going to give us some tips on what to try. So hello again, Katie, and I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm sure you got some great information.
So this is fun too, because really when you want to identify, so you want to have time for self-care, right? That's important. But the other component of that would be to be able to identify your needs and your wants, because if you don't really know what your needs are, it's kind of hard to figure out how to meet yourself with self-care. So let me give you an example. So when I had my 8th baby, we had been wanting our house. We had one bathroom and one shower for 10 of us. It was like, okay, we really need another shower. So we had asked our contractor before I was even pregnant, hey, this is what we want to do. Can you price it out? And then we just waited and waited. And then I was like, well, I'm 8 weeks pregnant. That's how we announced it. We're 8 weeks pregnant. Do you think you could come over and get started on the renovation and putting in a bathroom? And so finally, I was leaving the hospital and he texted my husband that I had just had the baby. He's like, we're going to start Monday. It was Thursday. So, okay, I had a 4-day-old baby when they're starting major house construction, no kitchen, bathroom reno, bedroom reno, crazy. But I was like, okay, what can I do so that I make sure being postpartum, having a newborn, how can I best care for myself so that I'm not going to drown and feel overwhelmed and feel like, in this, river of misery, trying to cope with the construction mess, the loud hammering, 4 or 5 construction men being here, trying to nurse a baby, all the logistics, construction's already unpleasant, but then you throw in a 4-day-old baby on top of that. It's really overwhelming. So I was like, okay, what do I need to be able to make sure I can live through this in a positive way? And so one of the things was, if I have my cup of tea, even if I have to hole up in my bedroom while they're working downstairs, if I can have a way to have a cup of tea without having a kitchen, I think I could cope with them being here all day long. So I ordered off of Amazon an electric tea kettle, I guess it would be like a water thing. And so I brought that up here. I brought up my tea bags and a cup of tea. I have my tea. I can make a cup of tea whenever I need to. I think I can do this, but I had to identify what would comfort me the most in this period of time, right? But that would understand my needs. I had to know what my needs would be in order to be able to make sure it was met with self-care. Okay, so this component then would be the needs component. How do you even know what you need, right? Well, that takes some time. And so instead of just always reacting and going through your day, reacting to the urgent, it takes some planning and thought. So what I wanted to do, I took some notes, so just give me a second. What I want you to do is start to think now. So if they're watching and they want to grab a pen and a paper, just so they can listen, or then just watch this back again. But I want you to start asking yourself some questions. First of all, so what do you like? I know a lot of times we're so focused on nurturing other people, we forget, what is our favorite movie? Do I have a favorite color? All these things, what do I like? I don't really know. So learn about yourself. What do I like? What gives me energy? What lights me up? What do I want more of in my life? And then what do I want less of? When do I feel really drained? What do I find super stressful? What do I dislike? Okay. Where am I struggling? All those questions, really take time. We call it a thought download or a brain dump. Just start writing it all down on a piece of paper. I know, for me, I like learning, right? I like walking outside. So how did I pair that up? I paired it up by 4 o'clock, I'd put a podcast on and head outside and walk around, right? Like all these little things, but I had to start somewhere, and I had to start with identifying my likes, my dislikes, where are my strengths, where do I struggle, right? Like, is there a certain time of day that I struggle, or is there maybe there's certain people that you struggle with, or is there an element of your job that you struggle at that you don't really like, but maybe you attach the whole of the job as being negative then because of that one area. Like, really try to get specific, like, what don't you like, what stands out to you? And then also think, like, where is your life lacking? And so there's a tool, it's called the Wheel of Life. And you could Google Wheel of Life tool and it'll come up. And it's literally like a wheel. Like, if you can picture if you picture a circle, and then there's like almost like cut up like a pizza, right? And in each little slice, there's a segment, and it's the way for you to evaluate and kind of get a helicopter picture of your life. So one area could be finances, another is relationships, one is like your health and wellness, your career and your job, friendships, fun, right? So there's a way, like, you can really take time and just start assessing, like, okay, where do I feel like on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I financially? If you're always short on money and you never have enough, well, my goodness, that's so stressful, right? No wonder you need so much self-care, because that's the root of the problem, right? Like, so maybe learning that and saying, okay, what if I did a budget? And, for just this month, let me try it and see if that helps reduce my stress level. Or if maybe you feel like, gosh, I don't really have that much fun in my life. I can't tell the last time I did something fun or spontaneous. Like, maybe that's what's lacking, and you go do that. Or if it's your career, maybe it's time to make a change. Or relationships, with COVID, a lot of people lost touch with some people. So maybe now is the time when you say, all right, I'm going to be intentional and get together with some friends so I don't feel so lonely. Maybe that's what is lacking in life right now, is connection, or relationship and romance with your partner. So maybe you can do something together to ignite that. And so that actually leads me to my next thing is, another thing you want to do is start identifying your strengths too. And studies have been done that show, a lot of times we think that we'll hit our goals by seeing where we're weak and trying to address like our shortfalls. But what they actually found was, like, if you can identify your strengths and actually work within your strengths, you'll hit your goals better and faster. And, of course, like, if there's some glaring weaknesses that you have, maybe you have to, if you think of a boat, your weaknesses might be the little holes in the boat that you want to plug up, but your strengths are like the sails, and those are going to push you and get you further ahead. So there are free strength assessments online. So if you Google a strength, you could pay for one, and I'll get to that in a second. But if you just Googled free strengths assessment, you could take a quick quiz. I know, and I'm sorry I did not write down what the website is, but I'll find it and I'll send that over to you. But there, you can take a free strengths assessment. But one thing that my husband and I did was we did a book study together, because one of the things we felt like, let's have some more connection. So we took, it's called the Clifton Strength Finder Assessment, and it was $50 for each of us to take. But it was so much fun, and I feel like it was so worth the investment. And I'm not an ambassador for them or anything like that. I just felt it was so much fun night for us. And actually, there's a book. It's called The Strengths-Based Marriage, and we went through it together. So he took his strengths assessment, and I took mine, and then we went through the book together. And one of the things they have you do is swap your strengths assessment. So like, they have you look at your own and kind of highlight what it says about you that you really resonate with, and then you swap yours, so he can look yours over and you look over his, and then you guys can discuss it. And it was so much fun. I really feel like it was probably the best thing we had done for our marriage in 20 years. It was so eye-opening, because one of the things that, and I laugh because my leading strength is achiever. And my second leading strength is futuristic. So I am always like, what can we do? Where can we go? You know what I mean? Like, I'm always planning, always like pushing ahead. And then my husband, his futuristic, which is my second, it was his last, right? And so it's like, oh, this makes so much sense. So a lot of his top were my bottom, and a lot of my bottom were his top. It was really interesting. But one of the funniest things that I learned about him and we both scored a number 3 was lifetime learner, which was interesting because here I am like, oh, I love research and I love learning on podcasts and walking outside. So it's like, oh, that, that's how I came up with the idea. I'll walk outside because I know that's a strength of mine, is learning, and that will fill me up. And I won't need food because I know I'm working in my strengths, right? So one of the funny quick story, one of his strengths is the individuation, which is one-on-one. He's like completely present and all there with you. So it's like just the two of you in a room, right? And that's individuation. He can look at just one person at a time. And we have 8 kids. So it's such an amazing gift for him to have, because he can take each kid and really focus on them and really give them his full attention. And I was laughing because he likes to do the food shopping and running the errands. And he would always take 1 or 2 kids with him when he does that, like on a Saturday morning or whatever. But they'd be gone for hours, like 4 hours. I'm like, where are you going? Like, are you slow? Like, where are you going for 4 hours? What's wrong with you? And then, because like the achiever in me is like, no, you're in and out and home in 1 hour, like that. What are you, crazy? And so learning that about him, that he has the gift of individuation. And so if they want to go to this store and then that store, and then they want to go to the Chinese food store and get boba and like all these weird things, like he's like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. And with me, I'm like, oh, no, we have this to do. And then we're coming home. Like, it was such a gift though, for me to learn about him too, because I was like, oh, that is why you do that. You're not mental. You're just, it's just a strength of yours. And now I appreciate it rather than getting frustrated with him. So I really encourage you, take the free strengths assessment online. But then if you have the time in your budget and you want to go through the full Clifton Strengths assessment, it's so much fun, but then it really gives you a lot of insight into yourself. And then once you identify what your strengths are, then you can really start to understand yourself better. Like for me, adaptability is my least strength. And I was like, it makes so much sense because I hate camping. And my husband, I have 5 sons, and my husband's like, we have to go camping. I'm like, I don't want to camp. It's terrible. Yeah. And now I think he gets it, because it's like, oh, okay, you're not adaptable and I'm not, so it's like, okay, well, I'll go with the boys and you can stay home with the girls, and that's how we'll play it. But it was so enlightening, because it's like, I don't know what I need. I don't know why I don't like camping, but now I do, right? And so something like that, taking the Wheel of Life assessment tool, getting to see, okay, where are the gaps in life? Where am I not, what's off? Like, what's not all it possibly could be? And kind of working back from there, saying, like I said, okay, finances are really stressing me out, or maybe I'm not having enough fun, or maybe my career, all these different things. And then also your strengths. Okay. So what am I good at? If you're looking at your career, maybe you're in customer service, but you're actually really, really great at management. So maybe look into that, like get to know yourself and then see, okay, what else could I be doing? And then, just pick one thing, notice what stands out and what really speaks to you. And then pick one thing on that wheel of life that you can start improving, right? Because I think we all have areas of life that we could, improve upon. And then finally, just look at your life. And here's another angle too. If you look at life and then see what are the most stressful points for you. So if there's like a negative emotion that you have that comes up a lot, maybe it's frustration, maybe it's overwhelm, maybe it's exhaustion, or maybe it's stress or anger. Like if there's a negative emotion that boils up for you a lot and you may be ignoring it, like stuffing that down with food, like maybe, oh, I'm not supposed to feel that way, because like for me, when I would feel overwhelmed at 4 o'clock every day, I would ignore it. The good moms don't feel overwhelmed because or stressed, right? And so then I'd feel guilty, and then I'd have chocolate chips and I'd feel even more guilty, So it's like getting to understand, like, okay, well, where is that emotion coming from, and how can I learn from it rather than always try to escape it, right? So it's really taking a magnifying glass and start doing some work. start identifying, okay, these are my needs and these are my wants and these are my likes and these are my dislikes, and then start again, then you can take that information and then look at the self-care component and say, okay, well, then what are my dreams? Like how would I be living as if then, if my wheel of life was completely at tens all around, like what would that look like for me? And you can start to tweak and make little tiny changes.
Very good. Thank you. Sounds like she's will have a great workshop with you, identifying your needs. I think we're getting close to our time here today, but this is very fantastic information about learning who you are, and that's a big component to that self-care, is learning who you are and who you really want to be. Especially if you've been a grumpy person all the time, maybe you want to be more joyful, and how can you get to that point? But identifying your strengths is a great way to learn how to be more joyful in your life. Because
it's fun. It really is. It's so much fun. You will laugh. You'll be like, what? That's why I do that. It's so enlightening. It really is. It really is so much fun. I try to convince everybody to do it, because I'm like, you don't know what you're missing. It's so much fun. It really is.
It's like getting an answer to the puzzle. It's finally solved. I figured it out.
It's so true. It is so true. Really. I'm like, I felt so much relief when I learned that I was not adaptable, because I was like, maybe there's something wrong in my heart that I'm begrudging my husband his camping experience, It's like, I'm really trying to like this, but I hate it so much. I don't know why. And then I was like, okay, it's just my personality. It's just not a strength of mine, and it's okay. So
there's nothing wrong with you. It's just, we don't like everything. So
yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Katie. And she's going to join us tomorrow on Friends Day Friday. And as always, I'm going to be posting all of her information on the post with these videos. And she'll get me that link for the assessment, and we'll post that with this video today too. So tomorrow we're going to have some fun on Friends Day Friday, and she and I are going to have a little tea party and get to know her a little bit more personally. So thank you again, Katie, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.